G'day geeks, my name is Chris and in this video we're going to do an unboxing. So I recently got a delivery from BBTS, a Big Bad Toy Store, which is probably one of, if not the biggest online toy stores in the world. They are situated in America, but their shipping is relatively cheap and sometimes they have stuff there that is easier to get than anywhere else here in Australia. So I don't use them often, but when I do, I'm always sure to get some goodies. So we're going to look at a bunch of goodies here today in this little box. Well, big box actually. So this is all the stuff from a BBTS, a Big Bad Toy Store. Let's have a look at all the toys contained inside. Going in for a closer look, this is all the stuff I got from Big Bad Toy Store. So we have the thelastronin action figure. So that's based on the awesome IDW Ninja Turtles Future Set series, which is proved very popular, and a movie is forthcoming. We've got a couple of Masters of the Universe figures. We've got a Horde Trooper, and we've got the cartoon collection Manny Faces. We have the new G.I. Joe Reaction Plus line from Super 7. This is Serpentor, which is an awesome figure from my childhood. And speaking about figures from my childhood, we've got Cops and Crooks. So we don't get many Cops and Crooks better merchandise, but this was a animated series and action figure line, short-lived, from the 80s. This is just the Keshi kind of cartoony style. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures to look at in closer detail, which we're going to do right now. Super 7 have been putting out G.I. Joe stuff for a while now, and this Serpentor is the Cobra Emperor. So he's one of the most expensive vintage figures, and I did have the vintage figure as a kid from the 80s with his cool little chariot and his cloth sparkly green cape. That's long gone. In the background there is the G.I. Joe classified version, which is a very impressive version with a whole bunch of accessories and stuff. This is the more cheaper option, and this is part of the Reaction Plus line, as you can see in the bottom left corner there. So Super 7 have been putting out reaction figures for quite some time. I have quite a few myself, and they are basically modern figures made to look like vintage figures, smaller scale and limited articulation. The Reaction Plus keeps them in the same scale, but with added articulation at the elbows and knees, and a bit more waist kind of swivel articulation as well. So this Serpentor figure is one of the first from the Reaction Plus line, and he comes with a little dagger and a cloth cape, which is pretty excellent. And you can see the different figures from the Reaction Plus line there as well, including Raymar and Fatal Fluffy, which look interesting. Have no idea about who they are. There's a bit of a bio on the evil bad guy, Serpentor, and yeah, this kind of looks similar in scale to the figures that came with the G.I. Joe Autobot Cup figure that I reviewed on my channel a while ago now. So very similar. These are the Hasbro versions, so there's Sergeant Slaughter there, so very similar indeed. I do like Serpentor. In fact, I'll probably keep him in the packet because I love just the way he presents with the awesome vintage style art in the background. And yeah, very happy to add the Reaction Plus version of Serpentor to my G.I. Joe shelf. Here's a couple of figures that I definitely will be opening. So this one is Manny Faces. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is filled with weirdo characters, and this is part of their cartoon collection line, which is action figures based more on the look of how they appeared in the Filmation TV series, and this is due to the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, and we've got the wonderful holographic kind of sticker there. So Manny Faces is basically a former actor turned soldier. He doesn't come with any weapons, unfortunately. The vintage figure came with a big, humorously large gun, but this figure doesn't come with any accessories, but he does have the wonderful 3 changing faces from human, robot and monster. Comes with the comic inside and the wonderful bright cartoon collection accurate colours, so I'm very happy to add this to my cartoon collection shelf. And we also have the Horde Trooper, which is one of my favourite figures, vintage figures as a kid. This figure has been out for a while. In fact, it's got new for 22, So it came out 3 years ago. I've already got a version of this, but I thought this can be the opener. And these are basically robot troopers from the Evil Horde, so Hordax minions. And just like the vintage figure, you press the button on the chest and he kind of explodes, and as the back shows us, and you can put him back together again. So pretty cool, fun feature. He also comes with a comic and a staff accessory. So let's open up Man-E-Faces and the Evil Horde Trooper. Man-E-Faces and the Horde Trooper. So as always, Mattel does a fabulous job with their packaging. You can see in the background the familiar Castle Grayskull from the Formation cartoon intro, and then obviously the Horde Trooper has the retro vintage glowing red rock background, which the vintage figures had. So yes, Man-E-Faces, so as I said, from the Masters of the Universe Origins cartoon collection, and that means that he has the removable joints like all the Masters of the Universe Origins figures does. So you can see here in this little sheet, all the grey parts are removable, and you can swap the arms or whatever with other figures if you so desire, and kind of make your own monstrosity. So yeah, that's a nice little feature. And obviously Man-E-Faces play on, he's a man and he has many faces. Obviously he has the little twistable knob at the top there, and he goes from human to monster to robot. So let's give that a go now. So there's the human-y face, there's the robot, and there's the monster. Very cool. So yes, very much like the vintage figure indeed. I love all the colours, the pinks and the blues. As you can see, very simple. The toys from the 80s were a bit more detailed, I guess, than their Filmation counterparts. So the action figures didn't always look like the cartoon, but Cartoon Collection is rectifying that. So yes, he is Man-E-Faces. He doesn't come with any accessories, as I said, but yes, lovely bold colours that really pop, and very happy to add Man-E-Faces and his oddball feature to my Cartoon Collection shelf. Now let's have a look at the Horde Trooper. The Horde Trooper also has removable parts, and you can see those parts that are removable there. So you can take his head off and his arms and all that kind of thing, and again swap with other figures. He comes with an accessory, which is the very familiar from the vintage figure, the red staff. And yes, the action feature here is that you press his red emblem on his chest and he explodes like you've hit him. So let's give that a shot. I actually haven't tried this, let's hope it works. Oh gosh, it's really quite stiff. Okay, I think it's still so stiff, it's going to have to loosen up a bit, but thankfully you can just kind of pull it apart anyway. But the idea is that you basically just press the red symbol in the middle there and he flies apart from his chest. Oh gosh, yeah, it's still oh, there we go. So yes, I mean, he's fresh out of the box and he's still quite stiff, but very simple design. And they've even got some little designs inside. You just flip that back, it's easy enough to clip in place, and he's ready for another take. Oh, there we go. Okay, just needed to be loosened up. Very familiar articulation, and I love the kind of pearlized armor that he has. So it's kind of grey silver. His head moves, which is pretty awesome. He's got the staff, as I said, which is pretty detailed. And there we go, ready to send. Hordak is ready to send his army of Horde Troopers into battle. Both figures also do come with the familiar comic, just like the vintage figures did. So Man-E-Faces comes with the Slime Lord. So this is part 2 of the Horde invasion, and it's pretty awesome that they still have a throwback to the vintage figures and throw in the little comics as well, which is pretty cool. And the Horde Trooper has one focused on Sunman. Very happy that Mattel is still doing this, throwing the comics into the fray, into the free packaging like they did back in the old days in the 80s. Very awesome to see. So there we go, Horde Trooper and Man-E-Faces. very happy, and obviously Many Faces doesn't come with a gun, but happy that he has his very user-friendly action feature, and the Horde Trooper does come with his accessory, and that eventually does work after a few presses. These two are going to look awesome on my Masters of the Universe shelves. Cops was a 1988 action figure line and animated series. The action figure line was from Hasbro. There was also a short-lived comic series from DC Comics as well. It's one of those obscure kind of 80s properties that deserves a reboot, deserves to be brought back in some way. But yes, one of the things I saw at the Big Bad Toy Store sale was these kind of Keshi style, which are the little pink or multicoloured rubbery figures. And you don't see new Cops and Crooks merchandise very often. In fact, here's one of my old Hasbro figures. So this is the big boss guy, which is this guy, and he's a bit of a chunky boy. You can see he's kind of like Kingpin, I guess, and he's got the chrome bionic kind of hand as well. His plastic's a bit yellow, but that's cool. And he had a little gimmick where you would put little caps in his cane, and then you would pull back the lever, and the little caps inside would set off, like cap guns set off smoke and stuff, which is pretty awesome. So yes, that's the original figure from the 80s, and here is the newer one. So I've actually got a coloured version of this, which I bought when they first came out. So this is the coloured version, and I think these aren't available in Australia, only available at Big Bad Toy Store. So yeah, they're pretty awesome actually. So because it's a new release of a obscure 80s Cops and Crooks animated series / action figure line, I had to get it. That's the guy we just looked at. So I've already got that one, but I saw this was like only a few dollars, so I thought I would grab it, and we're going to open these. So they're exactly the same. These ones are more the Keshi style, all molded in one color. So since I've got two, let's open these up. Aren't they cute? So they're kind of made in that kind of super deformed cartoony kind of style. So going from left to right, you can see we have Dr. Bad vibes, evil guy, Long Arm, good guy, Buttons McBoom Boom, bad guy, I think, Bulletproof, the main good guy, and Big Boss, the main bad guy. Awesome names, aren't they? Buttons McBoom Boom and Dr. Bad vibes. So yeah, they're pretty detailed for considering how small they are. You can see they're not articulated at all, obviously, and they're kind of made in that pliable, soft kind of rubber / plastic. But yeah, for the small scale, they are pretty detailed and show the details of the characters and the individual abilities pretty well. Buttons McBoom Boom there with the guitar case and the kind of gangster hat and the pouty lips, the machine gun in his chest, and Bulletproof, which I think this guy is coming back as a 6-inch figure, I recall reading recently, just by himself. And the guy we just looked at, Big Boss, with his, I think that's like a pet ferret or a rat or something. But yeah, I'm very glad I got these, and just to show you what they look like compared to the usual, muscle men or Kanuki men. These are the kind of same scale, so these are just some of the Keshi figures that I have lying around, and you can see that they're pretty similar in size and that kind of thing. So yeah, very happy to get these Cops and Crooks, and hopefully we get more Cops and Crooks merchandise in the future. The last thing that I'll show from my Big Bad Toy Store haul was this figure, which is on sale. So this is based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin series of comic books published by IDW. They're the current publisher for the Ninja Turtles comics, and I won't spoil it for you, but as a 5-issue miniseries originally started getting published in 2020. This is the collected edition here, which has been very widely praised, and I'll just flick through some of the pages without hopefully spoiling some of the stuff. But basically it's in a future set world where there's only one of the original 4 Ninja Turtles survived, and it's like in a dystopian kind of future. And yeah, he's the last Ronin, kind of avenging and honouring his brothers. I won't tell you who the Last Ronin actually is. I do recommend reading the comic because it's pretty awesome, and there's been a few spin-offs and miniseries all related in this so-called Ronin verse. So it's kind of an alternate future set Ninja Turtles universe, if you like. And I believe there's been talk, and I think something's been officially announced, of a live action film based on this comic as well, which will be pretty dark and awesome. So this is the Last Ronin figure from NECA, who always do very finely detailed, realistic kind of looking action figures. You can see you've got the same artwork on the back, some glamour shots there, and a bit of a bio on the actual Last Ronin comic as well on the back of the packaging. So yes, the comic is definitely recommended reading, but let's crack open the action figure based on the series. Yes, it comes with a lot of stuff. So NECA are really good at all their packaging design and all the accessories they throw in. They're always very generous. I've got a couple of NECA figures, but this is my latest edition, and it looks pretty close to the comic with the costume design. So let's take all this out of the package and have a closer look. It's a pretty chunky figure, but yeah, you can see very detailed. As I said, NECA are very well known for their kind of detailed sculpts. Not a whole bunch of articulation, just a single joint, knee and elbow, and shoulders, head moves, and the waist moves a bit as well. But yeah, very good detailing. It's kind of got that weathered look on the cloth of his costume. This little bit comes off, and you can see obviously it's a bit of a older black bandana Ninja Turtle, and you've got some if you want to take that, if you can put the bandana on the hole in the back of his head. It comes with a lot of accessories, the Last Ronin. So as I said, it comes with the little hood, which is removable. He comes with 6 different hands, so 3 pairs, fists and like splayed out hands, and hands for holding various weapons. And he comes with a little kind of cool baton kind of thing, and he comes with at least one weapon of all of the Ninja Turtles. So he's got Leo's katana and the little scabbard sheath that it can go into, which is great. Donatello's bow staff, and these are all pretty detailed as well. I mean, simple but detailed enough. We've got nunchucks from Michelangelo with a real chain. It's a nice touch. And we've got one of Raph's, my favourite turtles, one of his size. Yeah, they're pretty well made. You can see like the little wraps on the handles and stuff. I like the little details for that. And we also get a few other weapons as well, such as this weird kind of Bruce Lee claw kind of thing with a rope. We got a little grenade thing, I think that is. The camera's going to struggle to pick that up. There you go. And remember, this is set, so it's all kind of futuristic-y weapons. And we get 4 ninja stars. Pretty sharp. And I believe the original Playmates figures from the 80s and 90s came with ninja stars as well, shuriken, and some little kind of cool high-tech goggles which just go around with the back of his head with some elastic. So a nice assortment of weapons there. So many different posable options, and yeah, he's a chunky boy, but he's relatively posable. I mean, he can't get into heaps of ninja kind of moves, but that's okay. He looks like a bit of an older, grizzled Ninja Turtle, and it's awesome that he's got loops on his belt and costume to store all the different weapons, so the swords and all that kind of stuff, which he can fit in. And you can see he's got kind of armoured gauntlets and knee pads, so a bit of a different costume that we're used to seeing from the Ninja Turtles. Very happy with this Last Ronin figure.